one last time. He successfully negotiates that. Goes through turn 9, coming up to turn 10 and into your view, Mark James.
Mike Conway driving for Ed Carpenter. Paul Page, Ed Carpenter's going to step out of the car on road and street courses and step into victory lane, the 40th anniversary of Long Beach.
The checkered flags, twin checkers. Mike Conway has scored the win here and what has proven to be an amazing day.
This is IndyCar. This is IndyCar.
Fans will have that white flag for you right now. Coming down for Bob Sweikert. There it is. Let's follow Bob Sweikert around in number 6, the John Zink Special. He's just going into the south turn, and here he comes, Bill Frosch.
And here he comes, driving beautifully right into that groove. Comes right down in front of us, right now down the chute and into the southeast turn. He takes the southeast turn very nicely, riding the same groove he's ridden for the last 50 miles. Now, Jack Shapiro, you should be able to see him.
I sure can, Bill. Here comes Bobby Sweikert, the hometown kid from Speedway City, driving Jack Zink's car out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Jack Zink is a good friend of mine. I know Jack Zink Jr. is really going to be a happy boy. He's going into the northeast turn. He's on his way in there, and I think in a moment, Jim Shelton will catch sight of him.
All right, Jack Shapiro, we certainly can see him. A good-looking car and a good-looking driver, and he's headed for the home stretch. This man has really driven a race. Cool, calm, and collected, and that goes for both driver and automobile. You can hear the cheers in the home stretch, and here's Sid Collins. Pick him up.
We can't see him yet, but here he comes down, I'm sure. That beautiful pink car, the checkered flag is out. Bill Vanderwater, the starter, holds it high, waves it, and there's Bob Sweikert, the winner of the Brookline annual 500-mile race.
And there's the white flag for Graham Hill in the American Red Ball Special. Pick him up on turn number 1, Mike Ahern.
And here he is in turn number 1. Graham Hill coming around like he's been traveling this turn all afternoon, like he was on tracks. Smoothly into the short chute, turn number 2, and Howdy Bell.
And we picked him up now. We sight Graham Hill, former world driving champion. There he goes through turn 2 as he heads up the backstretch with apparently just one lap to go. Doug Zink.
All right, thank you, Howdy. And here he comes past the halfway point on the backstretch, running all alone. 3 here, and Ron Carroll.
And I pick him up, Doug. Here he comes into turn number 3. He passes me right now out of number 3 into the short chute. And he'll be coming over to you, Jim Shelton.
Ronnie's right here. Handsome man with a beautiful car. Graham Hill in 24. Number 24, white-red trim with oil smudges and dollar signs. And here's Sid Collins.
Here he comes down the main stretch, and there's the checkered flag for Graham Hill, winner of the Golden Anniversary Indianapolis 500-mile race. Car number 24, the American Red Ball Special.
The white flag is out as he comes by right now. Pick him up, Mike Ahern in turn 1.
All right, Sid, we've got him, and this looks like an instant replay of last year. The blue and gold Johnny Lightning Special, crowd on its feet as he goes into turn 2, and Howdy Bell. Howdy.
At the southeast vista here, the crowd stands, giving him a big wave now as Al Unser on the white flag lap goes through turn number 2. And sounding very nicely, moves right up the back stretch to Doug Zink.
And we've got him here, Howdy, and the fans, some of whom have been laying on their blankets, paying no attention. Now we're up against the fence, waving him on. Al Unser is in turn number 3, and Ron Carroll.
Yes, Doug, and here he is in turn 3. Al Unser, car number 3. The dark blue, yellow streak, Johnny Lightning Special moves to number 4, and Jim Shelton.
Thank you, Ron. Blue car with a big number 1, and he is number 1. And now to call the winner for the 24th consecutive time is our chief announcer, the voice of the 500, Sid Collins.
And here is Pat Vadan waving the checkered flag for Al Unser, winner of the 1971 Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Al Unser on his final lap, Ron Carroll.
All right, and he's by us right now. Al Unser, 196.474 he qualified at, and he's in the number 1 position on his final lap as he heads to turn 2 and Howdy Bell.
He flashes by us. You know, only 4 other drivers have ever won this event 3 times, and if things go right for a couple of laps, Al will be the 5th one. Darrell?
He's right in Doug Zink's lap right now in turn 3.
Winner in 1970 and again in 71, putting 2 victories back-to-back, is within about a quarter of a lap of victory number 3. Jim, pick him up in turn number 4.
All right, we're here in number 4, and there he goes, a newlywed. And here to call the checkered flag, a guy that did another great job today, our chief announcer, Paul Page.
Doing a fantastic job is Al Unser. The checkered flag is waved. His hand is in the air. Al Unser, the winner of the 1978 500-mile race. Johnny Rutherford down the main straightaway. The white flag showing to him the car number 4 on the board. Now less than 2.5 miles to victory.
And what a fantastic race Johnny Rutherford has run today. The fans are on their feet cheering him on to victory. He's over to turn 2, Howdy.
Yes, once again, in a very select group of 3-time winners, he will join as he goes up the backstretch. Johnny Rutherford began to raise his hands off of the steering wheel, saluting the fans here on the last lap. He is about a third of a lap away from victory. Doug?
And here he drops down into turn number 3, slowing up maybe just a little bit, it seems, into the short chute. Darrell, take him home.
Great round of applause, a waving to him. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here they call the checkered flag for the winner of the world's greatest auto race, the voice of the 500, Paul Page.
Number 4, the Pennzoil Chaparral, his hand in the air. Johnny Rutherford wins the 1980 Indianapolis 500-mile race.
197 laps complete, working on 198. We look for them now at the head of the main straightaway, and we have them coming now. There's Al, there's Mo, here's Jerry Baker.
There are 3 cars to work their way around. Now, Unser's got by one of them. He got by Rocky Moran, so Moran is now stuck in the between. Now, there is Fittipaldi moving around Moran in number 2.
They've got slower traffic in front of them now. Al trying to get to the outside to pass Emo right behind him. Emo moves to the outside down in front of Howdy Bill. Moved to very close to that white line. They head for 3. Emo may have him, Larry.
They're side by side. Emo on the inside. Al caught in traffic. Goes high. They touch wheels.
Oh.
Junior into the wall hard. Emerson Fittipaldi keeps on going. They touched wheels. Al Jr. into the wall, and Emerson Fittipaldi will lead them back to the yellow flag.
So, that's racing, I guess. We have a winner now.
From Belle Isle Park in Detroit, Michigan, this is the Verizon IndyCar Series.
Let's do it all again, shall we? The Verizon IndyCar Series. Chevrolet Duel in Detroit. I'm Mark Janes. Welcome to beautiful Belle Isle as we get set to go qualifying for the second half of this weekend doubleheader. Sebastian Bourdais looking to go back-to-back, joined in the broadcast booth by our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton, who did a masterful job of keeping an eye on the varying pit strategies. And Davey, it became difficult to follow 5 laps in.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy right from the start. But I have to believe that 2 of the teams with the least amount of funding, just guys that don't have the sponsors that they really need to do really what they need to, were first and second yesterday. So I'd imagine all these teams are going to say, wow, what did they do? How did that strategy work? It's 70-lap race again today. The only difference could be some moisture in the air. It looks like a little rain could be coming in, and if that happens, it changes it all again. But what an exciting race yesterday.
That's why we are, in fact, 15 minutes early getting to you. A little bit of a different format. Same one that we had a year ago, but let's get specifically the details on how we will set the field for race number 2. We say good morning to Dave first.
I might need a PhD to explain this, but I think I've got a good handle on this. We've split up the field in half, Group 1 and Group 2, not unlike we do usually on our weekends at road and street courses, but this time out, Group 1 has exactly 12 minutes. The first one, the quickest one, will start up front. Then we go to the second qualifying group, and the quickest there will also start in the front row. Depending on which driver was quicker, that will decide between the 2 groups. That will decide who wins pole, and then how am I doing, Mark? Am I trying? Can I explain? Anyway, so that group will then start first, third, fifth, and so on. The second group, let's say the fastest in that group is the second quickest. Then it'll go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on for the race this afternoon. There will be a quiz later, Mark James.
Thank you, Dave. First, this format is not one that we, because of whether Michael Young will welcome you in and say we didn't really get a chance to employ this qualifying format a year ago as we remember it.
Now we started, got first group in, and Sage Karam was quick, and then if you remember, the rains came down, rained out the second group. We then went back on points coming into the race weekend, and that's how we qualified the field for race number 2. Crazy part about it is we've moved up this qualification session because the potential for rain is approaching Belle Isle just like it did last year. So we'll see what we can get in. Hopefully we'll get both groups in and get a good qualifying session in as we get set for race number 2 later on this afternoon here on the streets of Belle Isle.
Drive through for the 19 of Gabby Chavez. Violation of the blend-in line at pit out. Pagano, Kimball, Hawksworth, the Lotion, Chilton, Gabby Chavez, Newgarden, Castro Neves, Daly, Rahal, and Munoz, group number 1. Back to Dave first.
An opportunity to catch up with the chairman of the Chevrolet Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix, and Bud Denker, a longtime member of Team Penske with Roger. It's great to see you. Congratulations. Wait, we're hoping to get into qualifying before the rains hit. It looks like we're going to be driving later this afternoon for the second race.
Well, we got a little rain coming in, we understand from our guys in the Weather Center about 11 to 11:30. We started IndyCar practice qualifying early for that, so it's good to be flexible, obviously. But the race looks like it's going to be clear today, so beautiful skies now, a little rain coming through, but we'll be fine later on.
I tell you what, when there's blue skies, the sun shining here in Belle Isle, there's nothing better when it comes to the Verizon IndyCar Series.
Well, those shots overhead yesterday were just incredible, from the overhead shots on our island to downtown, our riverfront. We had record crowds yesterday here at Belle Isle for our Grand Prix race, and I'm hoping for the same thing again today. So I hope those fans come on out. A few tickets left, but what a great scene yesterday. It all goes back to Belle Isle, what we're doing here.
Several renovations over the years, and how has it changed here in Belle Isle? And obviously the people come out in droves when it's race weekend.
Well, back when it was here in 2001, it was a tough place to hold a race, and in 2007 when Roger brought it back here, we've invested now $13.5 million of improvements to Belle Isle. This is a beautiful park. It's a beautiful gem. And those are the reasons we're doing it, really. And also the fact is we'll bring almost $50 million in economic impact to our city this week. So that's a big deal for the city, for the state, and of course for Belle Isle.
The great thing about the organization here, you guys aren't done. You look ahead next year. What can we do next year and 2 years from now? You guys have a long-range program, don't you?
We do. We have a long-range plan in terms of infrastructure improvements for us, but also for the fans too. Every year we try to raise the bar for the fan experience. I think you saw that today if you look around here. Great feedback so far from the fans, from the guests, and also from the teams that are here. And by the way, we have the best volunteers of anywhere in the country.
Yes, you do.
1,150 volunteers who donate their time for this week. They love it. They're our ambassadors, and they do a great job for us.
Have a great rest of the day.
Great. Thank you very much.
Bud Denker, the chairman of Chevrolet Detroit Belle Isle Grand Prix. I tell you what, when it's dry, we love coming here, don't we, Mark?
Indeed we do, Dave. Car number 18, that is the car of Connor Daly, loses his fastest lap for bringing out that local yellow in turn number 3. Elio Castro Neves is P1, Pagano, Rahal, Newgarden, Hawksworth, Daly, Kimball, Chilton, Aloshin, Munoz, and Chavez. Davey, some interesting conversation between you and Graham Rahal as you were making your way to the booth this morning.
Yeah, just what we've seen all weekend, and it's no secret. I mean, most drivers will tell you the back straightaway here is just so rough, and these drivers are just taking a beating, and with a double weekend, it makes it hard on them. And Graham, I asked him how it was in his race car, because everybody has different shocks, springs, packages, and how they get over it. On cold tires, when you have the pressure down, it bottoms out so bad. He said he can't even see. It's so bumpy. So imagine that. You're out there in race mode after a pit stop and going out straightaway. You're hanging on that wheel, but you can't even see. And just driving you, it's hard on your back, your neck. So it's a challenge for these guys to do 2 days in a row. Now, once you get in that car, it's back to race mode again, obviously. But that's how bumpy this back straightaway is.
Two guys awfully busy yesterday were Jake Query and Nick Yeoman. We've positioned them out on the course. Another guy that was very busy yesterday, Jake Query, is just about ready to pop into your view. He's the pilot of the number 7 machine, Mikel Aloshin.
Yeah, it's been a very active weekend. Aloshin gets a little bit loose out of turn 5 and again squirrely before turn number 6. But Nick, it's been a busy last week and a half, really, when you think about it for Mikel Aloshin.
Yeah, and busy not in a good sense. A wreck in the Indianapolis 500, a
a wreck in practice and qualifying yesterday. Had a clean race as he makes his way through turn number 7. But Mikhail Aloshin, Mark James, just looking to have a solid Sunday to put the troubles of the last week and a half behind him.
The 15 of Graham Rahal. Not a bad day for Graham. Davey talking to him moments ago. Jake, he's through turn number 5 and back into your view.
Rahal takes that move, and when he does so going through 5, he does so a lot cleaner than did Aloshin last time by. Nick, this is an area of the track that is really bumpy, then a long straightaway before they come into your view.
Yeah, and as he makes his way down that bumpy back straightaway, as Mark described, Graham's going to light him up. That's the second straight lap that he has lit up that left front tire. He's up against the rev limiter through turn number 8, sets up for the left-hander of turn number 9. It's Graham Rahal.
Nick can almost look down into the cockpit from his position at 7. That's some pretty good sounds
he's up there, and there's a lot of action in that area, and definitely can see, that's another part of the racetrack where the drivers are super busy in a real technical area. Not a lot of passing in his area, but really technical.
Castroneves, Newgarden, Munoz, Pagano, Aloshin. Let me change that now. Castroneves, Rahal, Newgarden, Munoz, Pagano, Aloshin, Kimball, Chavez, Hawksworth, Daly, and Chilton. Davey, with these sessions running about 12 minutes, you don't get a lot of time to massage the race car. You can't make a lot of changes on pit road.
Not a lot of time, and I don't know what they're doing on tires. I see Simon Pagano went out on reds. He is now on blacks, so he finds himself on the reds at P5. Ironically, the blacks in longer runs seem to be a little bit better, so it looks like he's going to go out. Time left is, where is our clock here? Oh, yeah,
about 4 minutes.
4 minutes left, so he has some time to get some heat in those tires and try to get it up to speed.
Simon Pagano dominant yesterday, Jake, but he couldn't get to victory lane. He comes to turn 6.
Pagano made it look easy at the beginning of the season. Had a bit of a hiccup in Indianapolis, but again, has been good here, but just that pit cycle was difficult on everybody yesterday. Simon Pagano already on that straightaway.
Yeah, Simon Pagano had a fantastic race car, had what was maybe the move of the race as he streaks through turn 7, Mark, when he got past his teammates Juan Montoya and Will Power, but Simon was right up against the fuel limit, had to back it down. Had a car good enough for the win, but failed and tumbled out of the top 10 yesterday.
Mikhail Aloshin makes his way through turn number 6. He'll tackle that long back straightaway one more time. Jack Hawksworth, first one out yesterday. He never turned a lap. That ABC supply machine, red, white, and blue, the familiar scheme, exits turn number 5, Jake.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this has been a real rough go for Jack Hawksworth as he works his way now. Nick, one advantage for him as he works his way into turn 6. He doesn't have the pounding everybody else did yesterday, but we'll see if he can parlay it.
Yeah, the physical fatigue is not there for Jack Hawksworth, but the mental fatigue of not being able to race yesterday must have been very frustrating. He takes the right side tires against the curbing. He'll swing out wide to the left-hander of turn number 8. Jack Hawksworth about 10 to 15 car lengths back. Gabby Chavez on a flyer.
2.5 minutes to go. Davey Penske flexing a little muscle here. Pagano, Castroneves, P1.
Yeah, Pagano, he's been really kind of, when it comes to running to qualifying, when practice, he finds himself on top majority of the time. This time, crazy time, 1:14.766, a really good time. And by the way, that's on the black tires. And his teammate Castroneves second, and Rahal third.
Graham Rahal into the runoff area in turn 3 and turn 14. Drivers being told, look for the surface flag. A couple of pieces of debris to driver's right. An update on those Firestone Firehawks and from day first.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that Simon Pagano started off on the reds, but then switched to the blacks. And on the blacks, that's when he turned his quickest lap here on the streets of Belle Isle. Elio Castroneves now P1. He also is on the blacks. A couple of guys still on reds. That includes Gabby Chavez. Looks like Connor, check that. Jack Hawksworth, Joseph Newgarden, those two on the reds here in the remaining moments of this qualifying session.
Once Elio Castroneves clears you, Jake, the guy comes behind him to finish second. That's Connor Daly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Charlie Kimball is right in that mix as well. You've got to hope when you're out there, as I watch Max Chilton go by, that you've spaced yourself out just enough. Watching now Simon Pagano come through. Mark, you want to get enough space so that in case the guy in front of you checks up, it doesn't hurt you on a flyer.
Maybe we just saw Joseph Newgarden slow down the back straightaway. Looks like he's into the runoff area in 3 in that 21 car.
Yeah, you got to remember yesterday, Joseph's car just did not sound good, right? I mean, he lost a cylinder or two. He finished the race with a bad sounding car. I asked him this morning what happened. He said there was some electronical issues, which could be fuel nozzles, could be a lot of different things. I go, did you change the engine? And he goes, no, they said it's going to be fine. So The question is it really fine, or did something else happen here?
Well, the visor is up, and again, he's deep into the runoff area, and we can only assume he's going to set there. His session is complete, and right now he's doing no better than P7. Less than a minute to go in this one. In fact, 30 seconds. It's Pagano, Castro-Neves, Kimball, Rahal, and Mikel Aloshin. I believe the guy P1, Elio Castro-Neves, comes back to Jake Query.
Castro-Neves does exactly that. He again has Kimball just behind him. Now, right now, they're showing Kimball as P3. So, Nick, as he works his way up, Kimball getting close to Castro-Neves.
Yeah, you guys were talking about the spacing a little bit earlier. That was the only concern that I had was Charlie Kimball. As you hear Elio go by, and then Charlie Kimball. Kimball's kind of on that rear wing, but thankfully, Mark James, most of these drivers have spread themselves out. Max Chilton just got sideways through turn number 7. Here comes Simon Pagano as well.
I think Mikel Aloshin is among those that's going to get the opportunity to turn one more lap. Jake, I believe that's Mikel. He's getting ready to exit turn number 5. Come into your view. There's another car about a half a straightaway behind him.
Yep, Aloshin works his way now, and as he does so, takes that right-hander here in turn 6. Does not have near the bobble he did before. Graham Rahal also, Nick, going to get a chance, I think, to score this lap, but it looks like that 15 might be backing off a bit.
Last opportunity to try to lay down a big one. Aloshin arcs it through turn number 7. Here comes Graham Rahal. Doesn't appear to be backing it down at all, actually. Rahal arcs it into turn number 8, right up along the blue and white curbing. Aloshin and Rahal appear, Mark James, to be the last cars to pass through here.
And Davey, Simon Pagano nips his teammate late in the qualifying session again.
They were swapping back and forth, and they were in the 115s. They dropped to the 114s. And the Castro-Neves put it on the pole at 114.190. I thought, oh, that's going to be it. And then right here at the last lap, Simon a 114.038.
So Simon Pagano for now is P1. The time to beat in the second group, 114.0379. Castro-Neves, Aloshin, Rahal, Hawksworth, Kimball, your top 6. Munoz 7th, Chavez 8th, Newgarden 9th, Chilton 10th, Connor Daly 11th, getting ready for session number 2 for race number 2 of the duel in Detroit here at Belle Isle.
The best are going to push the limits of man and machine riding on just any old piece of rubber, which is why Firestone is the tire of the Verizon IndyCar Series. So when it's time to celebrate the 100th running of the Indy 500, no one knows more about celebrating than the tire that has more Indy wins than anyone else. Because at Firestone, we don't just make tires. We make champions. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. You're clear deep to the track.
Planes racing by your seat at 265 miles per hour. Pilots withstanding up to 10 G's of force right in front of you. Experience the thrill from closer than ever before. Red Bull Air Race World Championship. Witness the world's ultimate motorsport series at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, October 1st and 2nd. Tickets now on sale. More info at redbullairrace.com.
From the Firestone broadcast booth at Belle Isle, this is the Verizon IndyCar Series.
Pagano, Castro-Neves, Daly, Aloshin, Rahal, Hawksworth, Kimball, Munoz, Chavez, Newgarden, and Chilton. We're readying for session number 2. As we get ready for race number 2 in the duel in Detroit, they're towing Joseph Newgarden back. And to prove to you that we are a full-service radio network, we head to pit road where our lifestyle reporter, Michael Young, is standing by.
Indeed, with the parents of James Hinchcliffe, and you wonder where he gets his personality from. I think after the next minute or so that we interview his mom and dad, you will find out why Jeremy and Arlene Hinchcliffe join us on pit lane. Congratulations. I understand this is a very special day for you two.
Well, thank you. It's 40 years ago since I met Arlene, and we've actually been married 39 years today, June the 5th.
So the bigger question is, Arlene, how in the world have you survived this long? Not only with the boys, the kids, but this young man, Jeremy, here.
It's been a difficult run for sure. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm still here.
Talk about 2 weeks ago, your son lived a dream. He got the pole for the Indianapolis 500. A little bit about that.
Yeah, that was incredibly special. I didn't think I was going to make it off pit lane. My heart was pounding so hard. And with the checkered flag, I still wasn't sure that he'd actually done it. But he did, and that's an incredibly proud moment for sure.
Tears in your eyes too. Congratulations on not only the wedding anniversary, but you've raised a heck of a boy.
40 though.
Well done. Jeremy and Arlene Hinchcliffe down here on pit lane. Let's go down to Dave first.
We're here with Elio Castroneves, who's second quick in the session, which means he'll either start third or fourth in the race this afternoon. But more importantly, Pagano at the end just got you.
I know. It was a great job for the entire Hitachi cars. And we made some adjustments on the car. The track is a little tricky right now, and it was actually hurting where I was very strong compared to my teammates. And unfortunately, in the second lap, because the adjustments we made, the car was a little neutral in one of the corners. And so when I opened up my last lap, I had to be a little bit conservative, and that cost us for sure. But great job, the entire organization, Team Penske. Well, last year I started in the second row and ended up winning the race. So, hey, here we go. I'll take it.
That's not so bad. By the way, you had a race yesterday where you finished fifth. What did you learn yesterday you can use today?
A lot. I learned how much I can make fuel. That was very good. I learned the track does change a little bit. And my car is super awesome. So, there's that part I didn't learn anything. I knew already out of the box. So Jonathan Dugib and everybody did a phenomenal job. So now let's watch the second qualifying and get ready for the race.
Did you call it super awesome? Is that what you called it?
Is that a word? Is that make sense?
Oh yeah, it does. So.
Okay, super awesome.
All good. Good luck today.
Thanks, man.
To Michael Young.
We're with the provisional pole sitter for race number 2. We'll see what happens in group number 2. A nice job out there. Talk about the track. Has it changed with all that rain we got yesterday?
Yeah, it definitely changes. A lot less grip than yesterday in the race, so took a little bit of adjustments. Once again, the HP car was fantastic today. Just managed to put the lap together right on the last lap. It's great to be fastest, but this next session is probably going to go faster. So we're on the first row. That's what's important. We had a tremendous race car yesterday, so hopefully we can maximize what we got today, because it's such a beautiful race car. I love it.
We talked a little bit about the balance with the Reds yesterday. Everyone seemed to have problems with the exception of you. You were dialed in that first stint. Red's going to be key to the race today?
I think it's mostly hat off to my engineer, Ben Bradsman. We managed to find something that I really like with the car, so I'm very comfortable and I can really push it. So yesterday, the red fights and tires for me stayed on the car really well. I think it was just the balance was so good. I didn't have to push too hard to do lap time, and being in clean air, I think, was a big advantage. So hopefully we can do the same today. Black or reds, we're in good shape.
Fingers crossed through this session.
Need a bit of luck.
There you go. He's our provisional pole sitter thus far. The second session has begun. That's Simon Pagano.
Pit speed violation to the number 28 machine. That's Ryan Hunter-Ray, a drive-through penalty to start his session. And Davey, it's a rarity that you hear. This format changes your mindset. The guys in the second group, you heard Simon say he's not confident that time's going to hold up. He thinks this group's going to be faster.
Well, and I think probably why he's saying that is the grip wasn't as good as yesterday in the race. Well, the rain's washed off some of this rubber, and as it does that, you lose grip. You need to get the rubber back on the racetrack to get the speeds like they were yesterday. So that's why I'm saying that. With the second group, there's more rubber going down every time a car gets on the racetrack, and you got a couple of his teammates, Power and Montoya, who ran fast as well. They have opportunity, but it's going to be hard to beat him.
Mikel Aloshin currently shown P5. Dave, he was in group number 1.
He was in group number 1, third quick in that group. What did you learn in that qualifying session?
Well, the track was picking up lap by lap, and obviously the fastest lap was in the end because the track was very green at the beginning. I think the team did a really good job, and I think it's a good result, to be in top 3 in this group. It's going to give a good opportunity for the start, and yesterday was not a good day for us, but we canceled this day, and we look forward to this day.
Do you think this second group will have a better racetrack as it rubbers up?
I think so, yes. I think they have their time going to be better than ours because the track going to grip up more. It just depends if it's not going to rain right now. Then it's going to be faster for sure.
We'll see what happens. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
It's Mikel Aloshin. Back to Michael Young.
Charlie Kimball finished 8th yesterday, provisionally starting 11th at this point in the second qualification session. Looking at the right side of the Tresiba machine, looks like you might have touched the wall just a little bit. Did that happen in this session?
Yeah, that was on that last lap. I think probably pretty close to my quickest lap time. the track was just getting better lap by lap, and the Novo Nordisk car was following it for sure. We were getting there, and then I tagged the wall, the exit of turn 8, the right front, and obviously the side of the car. So that I think I lost a little bit of time, a couple of tenths in those last few corners. When we rolled into pit lane, we were P3, but everyone just got quicker right at the end. So it's too bad, but the nice thing is, with the weather coming in, I think the strategies will change up this afternoon, and the Chip Ganassi Racing guys here on the stand have got that. They've already thought through every situation, and hopefully they can react to it.
There's going to be a lot of situations, potentially. Talk about the physical demands. Explain to the race fans what your body goes through, and especially at a bumpy course like Belle Isle.
Yeah, this place is fierce. I think that's probably the best word for it. It's just vicious. As rough as it is, the walls are so close, you're going so quick, and without power steering, power brakes, your body definitely, it takes a toll on it. So I woke up this morning feeling a lot older than my 31 years, that's for sure. But I'm looking forward to the race today. Even if it's wet to drying or dry to wet or whichever way it goes, I think it'll be a fun race, and hopefully we can put on a great show for the fans.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Michael.
Charlie Kimball, he's provisionally 11th right now, Mark Janes.
Scott Dixon, Sebastian Bourdais, Juan Montoya, Tony Kanaan, Spencer Pigot, your top 5. Hinchcliffe, Power, Rossi, Marco Andretti, and Ryan Hunter-Ray. Takuma Sato also is in this group. Looks to go back to turn 6, and Jake Query.
Two things significantly darker right now than they were for group number 1. One of them is that track groove. You can see that rubber being laid down. As a matter of fact, watching it as Scott Dixon goes through and takes that right-hander. The other thing, Nick, that is significantly darker, the sky. I think the decision to move this qualifying session up 15 minutes is going to pay off, because it looks like if Mother Nature's got one last rainstorm in her on this Sunday, it's going to happen here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's a great observation, partner. It just picked up, got very windy here in about the last 5 minutes. Darker, you can feel the moisture in the air. So as these drivers, Mark Janes, hustle around the racetrack, Sebastian Bourdais, Spencer Pigot making their way out of turn number 10. Ryan Hunter-Ray sets up smoothly through turn number 7. Want to get these laps in quick, because it does feel like there is rain coming.
6.5 minutes left. Davey, even though there's cloud cover, it's a little on the breezy side. Are these conditions about the best they've been for the drivers?
Yeah, I think they're not bad. You know, it's a cool day. It's a little windy, like they said. Shouldn't affect you much on the street courses. But, yeah, I mean, as the rubber gets down, this is a good day. It's better than being super hot for sure.
Graham Rahal in that first group. Dave first found him on pit road.
Now he's an interested observer like the rest of us to see what happens in the second group. Graham, 4th quick in that session. Is that going to hold up, or is the second group going to get you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think our group was pretty quick there, but yeah, all in all good. We only got 2 laps on our second run. We thought the session was 15 minutes, not 12, so we made a little mistake there, but you know, our guys did a great job, and they go overnight and made some good changes and go racing from here.
So far, so good this weekend, 4th yesterday.
Yeah, 4th yesterday, and you know, it's just important we have 2 good solid points days today.
We'll see how it plays out. By the way, Mark Janes, guess what? Big, heavy raindrops beginning to fall here on pit road.
Yeah, we've got access to the video boards and the monitors here throughout the course. We saw the tail end of that interview and noticed there were some drops. Davey, a 4th place finish for Graham Rahal. I'm sure it wasn't a quiet day from his perspective, but for us to see him pop up there P4 at the end gives you an idea what a solid day he had.
He felt good, he said. The car was good balance. And I go, what do those 2 guys do on strategy, you know? And I think, you know, as I analyze it from yesterday, then we're talking about Bourdais and Daly. They pitted early. They both, I think, lap 2 and lap 4, they both pitted. But what it did is it left them an open track. They had no traffic, so they could just go as fast as they want to go the entire time, and that they just made up a lot of ground.
Right now, Davey, Will Power is second quick. First in this session at 1:14.266. Pagano ran a 14:0379.
Yeah, and I think there's enough rain coming down. It's going to affect Will. You know, there's more rubber getting on the track, but does he no good if there's moisture on the track? Now, that's a pretty impressive lap with it sprinkling a little bit. If it was dry, he definitely has a shot at getting it, but I just don't know if he's going to do it with a little bit of moisture.
We talk about it. I don't know that we necessarily did it yesterday, but every time we get on a road and street course, I always pose this question to you. Where must you simply be fast? Where do you need to be the best in order to be the best here at Belle Isle?
Well, I think the key thing is to have a good exit onto the long straightaways. Whatever corner brings you onto a passing zone, you want to be really good on that corner entry and exit to get your speed built up to where nobody can, per se, get a run on you on the braking point. And I think that's very, very key when it comes to race time. Now, when it comes to qualifying time like right now, I think it could be the technical areas, because there's a lot of technical, slow areas that you have to be fast through to put that time on the board. So it's kind of changed it between qualifying and the race.
I don't think that we can overstate just how tough the conditions are in terms of the surface, the bumpiness. I mean, let's face it, these guys are top shelf athletes. They work out on a regular basis. They train. They work on their cardio, their strength, their conditioning, their endurance. And for guys like Charlie Kimball and Graham Rahal to say, man, we just felt like we'd been beaten to death when we rolled out of bed this morning. And now they got to turn around and tackle it all again.
You got to remember one thing. When they go to the gym, they do a lot of cardio. They do weightlifting and training. And they make, their body strong where it needs to be strong and where these cars are demanding on you. But what they can't do is, for this race, you need to go into a boxing match. I watched Ali yesterday when he was sparring when he was young, and he just let the guys hit him, just bang him and hit him and hit him and hit him so he can use to take up punches. Well, that's kind of what you need to do on this particular racetrack, because it's not about how strong you are, it's just how you can endure these bumps, the car bottoming out, and just kind of getting beat up the whole day.
Power still cannot eclipse Simon Pagenaud. His fast lap at 1:14.2661. Kanan P2 in this group. Then Montoya, Hunter Ray, Bourdais, Dixon, Hinch, Sato, Rossi, Andretti, and Piggott. Kurt Cavett of the Indianapolis Star publishing some interaction he had with Juan Montoya, perhaps expressing a bit of displeasure over an incident he had with his teammate Will Power. And Davey, we had an opportunity to go back and look at it. We saw some similar scenarios. Bottom line is, if you were stingy with real estate at times, it ended up costing you a couple of positions.
Well, I had to look at several guys on the racetrack, which they wanted to block going into turn 3 mostly. And when they did that, they left themselves in a bad predicament, because the car got underneath of them still, and it happened way more than just Will Power and Montoya, where they lost not 1 but 2 positions when they tried to be greedy to the racetrack and try to block. So the way I look at it is, don't block, and you're going to lose 1 spot. A guy has a run on you, let him go. Fall in behind him, you lose 1 spot. You try to block, and almost every incident yesterday when they tried to block, they didn't lose 1 spot, but they lost 2 because they lost so much momentum getting into turn 3.
90 seconds left. An incident between the 27 of Ryan Hunter-Reay and the 12 of Will Power is under review in race control.
Oh, interesting.
Power continues P1, still not able to eclipse Simon Pagenaud. He's at 1:14.266. Pagenaud at 1:14.0379. Looks like that rain could not have come, what little we got, at a worse time for this Group 2.
Yeah, just, you know what, another thing, even if it's a small amount, it doesn't really affect the track itself. When you see that on your visor, you see it drop around your car, mentally, you just don't know how much is on there. You just don't know how far you can push it, and it takes a little bit away. I don't care who you are. When you see that, you're not going to give it that 100% every time. And oh, look at Kanan. He just went quicker, put himself to P1. Oh, I guess it shows power.
I've got the answer here,
yeah.
Davey. The number 12 of Will Power loses his 2 fastest laps for interference on the 27 of Marco Andretti. Will Power losing 2 of his fastest laps for interference on Andretti, and that causes Will Power to tumble to 11th in this group. And it's going to adversely affect his starting position. Right now, he's shown in 22nd.
22nd. Will, he's so fast. I mean, the guy is just a bullet, especially on the road and street courses. The guy is just amazing. But, man, he just can't get it right. He's just going through a lot of issues, whether it's when he pits, whether it's making mistakes on his own. It looks like he's still on track. It's either him. I can't tell the difference between him and his teammate Montoya. Must be Montoya still on track.
Cars are very similar, no question.
Yeah.
The 28 of Ryan Hunter-Reay takes the checkered flag.
And puts himself on the front row.
Rossi also, and Ryan Hunter-Reay, that last lap was a flyer at 1:14. 1:14.5621 for Ryan Hunter-Reay. So we'll update.
Oh, wait a minute.
Timing.
Power's back on top.
Will Power goes back on top as this continues to turn over. The 27, Marco Andretti loses his fastest lap. We'll come back and reset all of this for you here at Belle Isle.
On Earth aren't going to push the limits of man and machine riding on just any old piece of rubber, which is why Firestone is the tire of the Verizon IndyCar Series. So when it's time to celebrate the 100th running of the Indy 500, no one knows more about celebrating than the tire that has more Indy wins than anyone else. Because at Firestone, we don't just make tires, we make champions. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
The Sports Car Vintage Racing Association returns to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 3rd annual Brickyard Vintage Racing Invitational, featuring over 500 vintage race cars. It's Father's Day weekend, June 16th through the 19th. Get your dad a gift he'll never forget and bring him to see the Indy Legends Pro-Am Charity Race, pairing pros and amateurs driving Camaros, Mustangs, and Corvettes. Experience something cool with your dad for this Father's Day weekend. Tickets start at just $5. Children 12 and under are free. For tickets and information, go to ims.com.
From the Firestone broadcast booth at Belle Isle, this is the Verizon IndyCar Series.
Well, we thought race day was interesting yesterday with all of the varied pit strategies. Sebastian Bourdais was your winner, Connor Daly, Juan Montoya, Graham Rahal, Elio Castro-Neves, and now that the dust has settled on this session, we're going to sort it all out for you with all the penalties and whatnot. Michael Young, you have Simon Pagenaud.
I asked Simon plain and simple, you're the pole sitter. And you said?
Yes.
Okay, very well done. What an odd session when it got to rain again like we did last year, although it didn't rain it out. You had your fingers crossed. I don't know how tightly, but well done. You really put a great lap down. Obviously some penalties in that second session, but this car is extremely quick.
Yeah, the car is beautiful. I just want to say, Will Power was fastest, so congrats to him. I think he deserves it, but it is, what it is, whatever. But yeah, a bit of rain, so that really helped us to stay fastest in our group. Like I said, the HP car has been beautiful all weekend, so really, really proud of the guys, proud of the team, and let's try to do it again today.
We have a little time before we go green. What do you do between now and green flag time?
I'm just going to adjust the car for the race conditions. We don't know what the weather's going to do yet, so we have to have a good look at the radar and see. But quite frankly, exactly the same as we did yesterday. Just hopefully we're in the right spot at the right time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
5th pole of the year for Simon Pagenaud, day first.
All right, we're here with Will Power. We're all down here trying to figure out exactly what was going on. You had the quickest lap. However, we understand you lost the 2 fastest lap, penalized because of interference with Marco Andretti. Your thoughts?
I was on an out lap. It was raining. I couldn't go any faster. So it's just the way everything seems to go right now. Of course it would rain in our session. I went quickest in practice to get the second session, but it spitted, and then it was very difficult on the out lap. So frustrating, man. I mean, we're so fast.
Obviously you don't agree with the penalty.
I don't agree with the penalty, no. I think these guys have got this wrong because they didn't understand the condition. It was wet.
In a way, you saved your behind, though, because without that last lap you put in, you would have started 22nd in this race.
Yeah, at least that's one good thing. Starting around the same place as yesterday, so see how it goes.
Figure it all out. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
Will Power still shaking his head. Can't believe he's penalized those 2 fastest laps here in this qualifying session.
Alexander Rossi heard from race control. His fastest lap lost for not slowing down in local. He was inside the top 10, and Alexander Rossi will now roll off 18th. Back to Michael Young.
Scott Dixon will start on the outside of row number 2 for race number 2. Had a good car yesterday, but man, bad luck bits after bad luck bits for you. Whole new day today. Looks like the car's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fast. We missed there on the balance. It was extremely loose in the first run. Then we came in and just took some front wing out, and then it started raining. So luckily we got that last lap in, which kind of moved us up from maybe 7th or 8th up to 2nd. But still not an ideal kind of balance there. But yeah, the car's fast. We were, I think, had the fastest race lap yesterday, and definitely moving through the field. So, hopefully similar today, we'll have to see what the weather brings us. And hopefully we can have a clean one is all we're hoping for.
Lots of frustration between you and fellow competitors, not necessarily you, but lots of guys saying, hey, blocking, and you're really crowding us here. How difficult is it to race here at Belle Isle?
It's always tough. It seems like there's always some weird strategy that kind of strikes through, and yesterday was no different. You could see the front guys go in the back and vice versa and moving around. So it's definitely it's a very tough track with the windows that are kind of wide open if you split it into a 3-stopper. And I think yesterday was definitely good for the fans. It was some crazy racing and some good overtaking. There's always going to be, when there's lots of overtaking in close quarters, there's always going to be some issues between the drivers.
Hopefully we'll get those gremlins out of that car today. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Scott Dixon will start on the outside of row number 2, Dave first.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay will start on the outside of row number 1 this afternoon. How crazy is that sort of qualifying? You got 12 minutes, and probably the hardest part is trying to get a clean lap out there, isn't it?
Yeah, the hardest part for me this time was trying to judge how much rain was on the ground, because through 3, 4, 5, 6, you could see the raindrops all over that slick concrete. On this side of the track, on the other side of the track, it was clean, dry. So I came through on my reds, and I said, we got to make this work, and I went through 4, and the front just took off right for the wall. So you're coming to your last lap. I was coming to my last lap, and I thought, what do? Settle on a P6, which is 3rd in our group? Or do you just go for everything trying to get it? So I put one in there, barely got away with it, but it wasn't fast enough. It just too much moisture on the ground there at the end.
Front row though, not bad.
Front row's good, but this place is so crazy, some of our teammates qualified further back. That could be a blessing in disguise.
We'll see you this afternoon.
Thanks.
Ryan Hunter-Reay will start second this afternoon.
Davey, I know he's aggravated and frustrated with the decision made by race control, but let's face it, willpower, that might have been the drive of the day. To lose your 2 fastest laps and end up starting 8.
That's unbelievable. I mean, he was so much faster than anybody else, and then, but losing it, he just, he doesn't have that luck going. He's had luck on his side, no question about it, but just hasn't had to go in here lately when it comes to little things like this.
Certainly was a level of frustration in that interview, but handled it well all in all. Your front row, Simon Pagino and Ryan Hunter-Reay. In row number 2, Elio Castro-Neves and Scott Dixon. Row number 3, Mikel Aloshin, Tony Kanaan. In row 4, Graham Rahal and Will Power. Row 5, Jack Hawksworth and Juan Montoya. In row number 6, Charlie Kimball and Sebastian Bourdais. Row number 7, Carlos Munoz and James Hinchcliffe. In row number 8, Gabby Chavez and Takuma Sato. Row number 9, Joseph Newgarden and Alexander Rossi. In row number 10, Max Chilton and Spencer Pigot. And rounding out the starting lineup, P21, Connor Daly and Marco Andretti will roll off in the 22nd starting position. Join us for complete coverage at all the usual outlets this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. Race number 2 of the Duel in Detroit here at Belle Isle. The director of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network and IndyCar Radio is Wally Levitt. Indianapolis studio master control operations by Chris Pollock. Our on-site engineer and producer is Rick Evans. Great job out on the course. We look forward to seeing them back there later today. Jake Query and Nick Yeoman, Michael Young and Dave First had the stories covered on pit road. For our driver analyst, Davey Hamilton, I'm Mark Janes. So long for now from beautiful Belle Isle.
This is the Verizon IndyCar Series on the Advance Auto Parts IndyCar Radio Network.
A.J. Foyt down the main straightaway. The checkered flag is out. A.J.'s hand in the air. He is the winner. A.J. Foyt at Indianapolis has won his 4th 500-mile race. A.J. Foyt, our winner. The flag will fly now for Tom Sneva and then for Al Unser. We will be talking with all of these drivers in just a moment. Lou Palmer is in victory lane as A.J. Foyt takes now his victory lap around the 2.5 miles of Indianapolis. A record-breaking end to a record-breaking month. A.J. Foyt, the 4th win at Indianapolis. A month that saw the 200-mile-an-hour barrier broken, not just in the practice where it is unofficial, but in the qualifying by Tom Sneva, our second-place car at the moment. And then, too, the first woman to enter, to qualify, and to compete in a 500-mile race, Janet Guthrie of New York City. But for the moment, the name is A.J. Foyt of Houston, Texas. The car is his, a Coyote. The engine is his, a Foyt.
congratulations. Wait, we're hoping to get into qualifying before the rains hit. It looks like we're going to be dry later this afternoon for the second race.
Well, we got a little rain coming in, we understand.
V8, and happiness, fame, and fortune are his too. He is the winner of the 61st running of the Indianapolis 500. Pat Sedan continues to display the checkered flag to the 11 other cars running on the race course at the moment. They hand him now the red flag.